Jim and Stacy, are y'all in the country or y'all still gallivanting
the Caribbean? World? Where are they at? So, hey guys, good to see you. Welcome aboard. Welcome to our Tuesday Mastermind. We do this every week. Just a reminder, a couple things, just a couple housekeeping things, and then Kathy will introduce Russ here. So first of all, thank you for getting on here Tuesday morning all over the country. If you're not part of EXP, welcome. We open this up to everybody. This is not an EXP pitch at all. It's just, good value content stuff. We've been doing this now for over a year, and it's been awesome. I've been in the business for 21 years myself in Colorado Springs, and every week I'm like, wow, I never thought of that one. Never thought of that one. I'm like, it's just new stuff. And that's the power of bringing in realtors from all over the place, all different backgrounds, all different levels of production and everything here. So a couple quick reminders, just, keep your mic muted. If you've got a lot of background noise, just be aware that we will hear everything. We'll try and monitor that as we go. But if you can, please turn on your cameras. Just the more interactive this can be, the better. And then a couple quick things too. If you're part of EXP, be plugging into the Freedom Team workplace page, okay? You've all been invited there. If you can't find that invite and you don't know what we're talking about, reach out to myself, Kathy, Sean, Tim, Eric, one of the leaders here. We'll make sure to resend you the invite to get you plugged in. We're putting a lot of stuff in there just really, every day. That's kind of going to be the hub for communication here. All the recordings of all these are in there. All the recordings of all the Zoom masterminds we're doing are found in there. We have a real special one tomorrow, and I just want to remind you guys, same time, 11 a.m. Is 11 a.m.? Yeah, 11 a.m. Is it 11 a.m. or 12 noon? I forget.
It's 11 a.m. Central.
11 Central, so 12 noon Eastern. We're going to be doing an interview with the newest Freedom Team leader, Stephanie Gillazon, and you do not want to miss this interview. I'm telling you, we've been working together now a few weeks here.
Did you ask them about financing? I missed that.
There we go. Let me mute that. There we go.
Yeah, I got her.
But guys, tomorrow, seriously, with Stephanie, it's going to be awesome. We are coming up with some great stuff for this year, and we're going to be hitting that. But just introducing you to her, she is a powerhouse in the industry and a powerhouse in EXP. So we're excited to have her jumping on board here with us with Freedom Team. So Kathy, why don't you take it away? Okay.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. We're excited to have you, and y'all are in for a treat today with Russ, who's going to be leading our class. So if you don't know Russ, he's actually part of EXP's corporate team. He's a VP of growth. But Russ's background is he was a broker owner in his own real estate company. And then he also oversaw 28 real estate companies with 900 plus agents, I think doing over $1 billion in sales. And so he has a huge real estate background, operating at high levels. And like I said, he's now one of our VPs of growth with EXP. And so, Russ, we're excited to have you to talk about the 3 recipes of success. And you've had a lot of it in your real estate career. So I'm going to turn it over to you. Take it away, buddy. Thanks for being here.
All right. You're quite welcome. Well, thank you for that introduction. I do appreciate that. It's kind of funny because we have these people that we talk to all the time. You see these people that have these massive growth and massive titles doing all this crazy stuff. And you know what actually made me the most successful? Being able to teach that person that did 1, 2, 3 sales a year how to get to 20.
That's right.
That's game changer. That's life changer stuff. So we talk about these $1 billion sales years. And by the way, Kathy, just so you know, it will go down in infamy. We did not hit $1 billion in 2017. It was 970 million.
Oh, shoot. What's wrong with you slacker?
That's like hitting 299. Missing. Yeah, I missed it by 1. Like, who can't pull 30 million out of their butt in 6 months? Come on, really? Didn't have a little bit more in us? And the answer is no, we didn't.
I bet anybody on here today would take that.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. It was all right. So with that said, my favorite thing in the world is to help people shift their business and shift their life to a business that's way more enjoyable. So first thing I want to start off with is let's play with your mindset a little bit. Is the market shifting right now? Yes, it is, right? Do we know what's going to happen this year? No, we have no idea. Any number of things could happen this year, good or bad. The one thing I do know for a fact, mindset wise, is you can be successful in absolutely any and every real estate market. I don't care what's going on. There are people that will be successful in every single type of market. Now, if you don't have the skill set to be successful in this market, it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge. So here's the fun part. I interviewed Glenn Sanford. I don't know if you guys have ever met Glenn Sanford. A couple people at EXP know him. I interviewed Glenn Sanford, and
so let me just, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
Some people on here are newer, so just
There you go.
who Glenn is. So some may not know who Glenn is that's on today.
All right, so Glenn Sanford, CEO of EXP Realty. He's the guy that started EXP Realty back in the day, 14 or so years ago. He started the real estate business in a market that was getting completely destroyed. We're talking 2008-9 were the formings of this thing, right? So 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9 were what we call medieval times. Those dark days, weeping and gnashing of teeth, right? It was a crazy time to be in the real estate business. Thankfully, I got to learn how to build a real estate business knowing zero people in a market that I just moved to and with no real estate experience in Tampa, 2005. By the way, Tampa is one of the cities that got hit probably the hardest in 2006, 7, 8, 9. We had single family residents dropped by over 50%. A lot of the condos and townhouses in the area dropped by almost 90%. Literally stuff going for $300,000 and $400,000 was going for $20,000 and $30,000 in some parts of the market. So how would you like to deal with that? Yeah, she's like, I'll put my hand up for that. No, she's crazy. I don't even know who this is. Alicia, you're crazy. You don't want none of that. Okay. So the thing is, guys, is that there are skill sets that are learned in good times and there are skill sets that are learned in bad times. And what I will tell you right now is Glenn Sanford said there's two things that are important. Number one, be seen. Okay. Number one, you've got to be seen. If you pull your head in your turtle shell and hide and try to wait this out, you're going to starve to death. Okay. So you got to put your head out there. You got to get rocking and rolling. And the 3 recipes I'm going to be talking to you guys about today are going to be the things that you should be out there doing. So when you get seen, it's not you trying to get something, it's you trying to give something. Because in the real estate business, a lot of people go out there and we hear this and we teach and we've been taught and trained this our whole lives in real estate. You got to have your elevator pitch and you got to go out there and you got to ask for the sale and you got to, and what happens is we basically alienate everybody around us. Right. So there's a couple of things that I'm going to have you guys learn today that you can implement in your business and start moving the business forward. That's going to attract people to you instead of scaring them away. Now, of course, I had to learn this the hard way because all the people that I talked to back in the day were like, well, Russ, you got to get good with your scripts. You got to start calling FSBOs and you got to call the expireds and you got to call the withdrawns. And I'm like, that's illegal, right? And they're like, do it anyway. Go door knocking. Right. Guys, I live outside Detroit, Michigan. You know how that goes now? Knock, knock. Who's there? 9mm. Really? Like, you don't go door knocking. Door knocking in Detroit's not the smartest thing you can do in a lot of places, right? Right? Got an echo, Monica. There you go. Good. Thanks. Thank you. So with that being said, I want you to understand that I learned to build this business in a market getting destroyed. I was watching real estate agent after real estate agent after real estate agent that was making $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year go to making 20. And they're sitting there going, now what do I do? Because they built their lifestyle in 4 or 5 years around the $200,000 lifestyle, right? And then they got the $200,000 additional income house, and they got the extra $200,000 a year car that they were driving. And when their income went down to zero, they didn't have the skill set to be able to move forward. You have to learn how to do simple things to move the ball forward, to be able to take your business to the next level. So that's where this stuff comes from, guys. This is stuff forged in fire. You guys ever see the TV show Forged in Fire? You light up a furnace and the start smashing stuff, right? By the way, I have a forge in my garage, so I do that occasionally. Light stuff up and try not to burn the house down. That's one of my many hobbies. Okay. So with that said, let's start off with recipe number 1. So let me ask you guys a question. And by the way, Sean Sturrock, I just wanted to say happy birthday to you. You guys didn't catch Sean Sturrock's birthday was yesterday. We are officially birthday neighbors, by the way.
I love it. Thank you.
What that means?
Appreciate it, brother. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that means today's my birthday.
All right. Happy birthday, Russ.
And you know what I want to do on my birthday more than anything? This. This is what I love to do. I really do.
Love it.
I'm
You
glad
do also.
you guys had me here today. I'm glad you guys had me here today.
And
Okay?
you told me that a couple of weeks ago when we talked that today, the day you were going to train for us, and I completely dropped the ball.
No worries.
Happy birthday.
No worries. That's not a big deal. I got like 800 Facebook hits already today and 40 phone calls. I woke up to 25 texts. It's nice to be popular. And it's annoying to be popular. All right. So with that said, let me ask you guys a question, okay? Because I want this to really sink in to your head that this is the reality of the way the world really works. And you tell me if it works like this for you, okay? I'm out and about doing whatever, right? And later today, I will be going to find some food somewhere. And while I'm waiting for food, the person next to me is like, "Hey, how you doing? Nice to see you." It's like, you have a casual conversation with somebody, and the next thing you know, they say, "Hey, what do you do for a living? Why are you dressed like this?" So I'm a real estate agent, and you say you're a real estate agent. I say I'm a real estate agent. What's the next question they ask?
How's the market?
Guys, put your hand up if that happens to you too.
Yep.
Yeah, right. If you are out and about at all, engaging on any level with people, particularly if you're doing any type of networking, this interaction happens in the real estate business all the time. So here's where the problem comes in. The problem comes in that most of us were trained very horribly on how to respond to this, okay? So number one, you're either not trained real well how to respond to it or not trained at all how to respond to this. And then even worse, if you were trained on how to respond to this, you were probably taught to have a really good 30-second elevator pitch, right? Did you guys hear that one? Did you guys get that one too? Put your hand up if you guys got that one too. Well, like when somebody says, "How's it?" You got to have a good elevator pitch, right? So here's the problem. In the real estate business, real estate agents aren't looked at as high professional salespeople. They're looked at not too far away from used car salesmen. And part of the reason this is because in our industry, a lot of the training that we do, and I don't want to insult anybody that they've been trained, like I don't want to insult the person that taught you that because they probably didn't know better either. But here's the thing, human nature 101. If somebody asks you a question and the next thing you do is a sales pitch, are you going to attract them or scare them?
Scare them.
Yeah, right. So right out of the gate, guys, like an interaction that happens to us all the time, and I want it to happen to you more often. Now that you're going to know the solution, I want it to happen to you more often. I want you to put yourselves in positions where this happens more often because you're going to have a way better solution. So instead of scaring people away, we're going to attract people with the response to that question. Does that sound good? You guys want that today? Yeah. So we're going to solve that one today. So here's the fun part. Think of it like this. Does anybody here have a dog? My wife and I have 2 rescued greyhounds. One's from Florida, one's from China. It's just a cute little thing. The little one from China is like 42 pounds. She wasn't fed real well, poor nutrition, horrible breeding, horrible treatment. So we get her this little skinny stick pile, a bag of bones with fur around it. And she's now filled out to 42 pounds, which is really tiny for a greyhound, by the way. My normal girl is 64 pounds. So she's this little bag of bones, and she decided she wants to be a lap cat. So she climbs up onto my lap. You'll see pictures of me on Facebook holding my dog, and she climbs on my lap. But the one thing with these dogs is that they're trained to they're trained to chase stuff with fur, right? Their whole life. They're from the tiny little puppies. They breed them and train them. It's like you see something with fur going, your job is to go after it, right? So we can't let our dogs off leash. There are some greyhounds you can do that with. There are some other types of dogs you can do that with, but with like greyhounds, you do not want to take them off leash because my dog's retired can run 40 miles an hour. So you can imagine my dog's going to get a speeding ticket running down the side street, right? Not to mention you can't catch the dog. And the real problem is the dog goes flying across the street. Nobody saw it because they don't expect a dog to be doing 40 miles an hour across the street. So they get hurt, okay? So here's the problem. Do any of you guys have a dog? If it gets outside, it doesn't want to come back. You guys ever seen that dog? So what do? You chase it, right? And then you're like, wait a minute, this is stupid. And then you're like, well, I got a better idea. I'm going to get in the car and chase it, right? And then, so like for me, I'm going to get in the car and chase my dog. Now we're both doing 40 miles an hour down the side street with a 25 speed limit. So the issue is like, you got to learn with your dog what will stop it, break its habit, break that pattern and make it come to you, right? Because the more you chase the dog, the more it runs. Guys, this is no different than the way humans work. So when somebody says, how's the market? And you start the chase, what are they going to do? Naturally, mentally, they're going to run. They're either going to nod their head and ignore you, or they're going to find some way of getting out of that conversation, right? Very seldom after you do an elevator pitch does somebody say this, please tell me more. You guys ever had that as a reaction? Please tell me more. No, of course. So let's make a shift, okay? So here's recipe number one. Recipe number one is you need to have a good real estate market update. You guys see me talking about all around town. I'm just banging this point and banging this point and banging this point and banging this point, right? The one thing that I hear all the time from people always asking me, how's the market? So should we or shouldn't we, as great salespeople, have a really good market update that tells them what's actually going on in the market? It's the only thing they ever ask me for. So I need to make sure I'm prepared to have a good real estate market update. So the next time somebody says, how's the market? My response back to them is, that's a really great question, Sean. People ask me this question all the time. By the way, I do a real estate market update every month that tells people what's going on in the market. Would you like me to send it to you? Now what? You guys ready for that? I'll repeat it, right? You know what? People ask me this question all the time. Ha, 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 ha. So because of that, I do a real estate market update every single month. Would you like me to send it to you? They just asked me, how's the market? I just offered them a solution to the question they asked, solving their problem consistently. Okay. Now, instead of just telling them how's the market, I'm going to say that first, because if I say that first, what happens in this interaction? They say, yeah, I would. Great. Give me your info. And they voluntarily give you their info. So let's go back to the previous one. Okay. Hi, my name is Russ Laggan. It's nice to meet you. Blah, blah, blah. What do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a veterinarian. Oh, it's great. I got a couple greyhounds. Oh, it's fantastic. Russ, what do you do dressed up like that every day? I was like, well, I'm a real estate agent. And the next thing they say out of their mouth is, right, well, so Russ, how's the market? And instead of saying to them, well, I'm a real estate agent. My job is to help people get top dollar for their house when they sell it and help buyers find the house of their dreams. Conversation's now over. Okay, they don't ever say, well, tell me more about that, right? So instead, how's the market? Blah, 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 back and forth. You're a veterinarian. I'm Russ. Blah, we got a couple of greyhounds. Great. Hey, Russ, what kind of business you're in? Hey, I'm a real estate agent. And they say, how's the market? And my response back is, you know what? People ask me that all the time. I have a real estate market update I do every single month that tells people what's going on in the market. Would you like me to send it to you? Their response back is, yes, I would. Great. Give me your information. Now, guys, in the normal course of having an interaction, being out and about in the world, could you imagine this happening 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week, just being out and about doing normal stuff? Okay, now people say, well, Russ, how do I build my business? I want you to build your business doing things you enjoy. Go out and do things that are fun. Go out and do activities that are enjoyable. Go out and do things and be a human and live as a human. And when other people are around you, interact with them. And in the process of interacting with them, what's going to happen every single time? This interaction happens over and over and over and over. Now, instead of trying to avoid it because it's weird and yucky feeling, you're going to be seeking out this opportunity. And what will happen is at some point today, somebody here will go to Starbucks after this, right? This happened last week. So they go to Starbucks right after this show here, and they order a cup of coffee, and they sit down, they're working on something real estate related. The person next to him looks over and says, hey, blah, 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 what are you doing? How you doing? Nice to see you. What do you do for a living? And they said, I'm a real estate agent. And she goes, oh my God, my head almost exploded, Russ. It almost exploded because it was the exact same interaction I've had a million times before. And this time I had a good answer. And I said, well, what did you tell her? She said, I told her I do a real estate market update every day or every month, tells them what's going on in the market. Would you like me to send it to you? And the person said, yes. And then I asked them for their info and they gave me their info. I said, now what's the problem? She goes, I have no idea how to do a market update. Dang it. All right, good problem to have, okay? So here's the thing, guys. I have a video on how and why to do a good real estate market update. Would you like me to send that to you?
Yes. If you'll send that to me, I will put, unless you have another idea, but I'll post it in our Freedom Team workplace group for everybody to have.
I'm going to send it to you, right? I would also like to offer this. I have a small sample of how I do a real estate market update. You're welcome to borrow and bootleg and steal that version or something similar to it, or do something better and send it to me and say, hey, mine's better than yours. Check mine out. And I will be like, heck yeah, right? Always looking to do better. Okay. So I will send you a sample of how I do a real estate market update. Would you like to see that too?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, guys, when we talk about sales, a lot of people are like, oh, Russ, sales is so hard. Guys, did you see what I just did to you 3 times? I just gave you a solution to something that was a problem. Great sales process, right? People are going to go for it. Does it make sense that that would make things a lot easier when somebody says, how's the market? Guys, this absolutely works, and it works all the time. Okay. Here's the great part. If somebody looks at you and says, no, I'm not that interested, run. Don't walk from them. Run. Okay. You're like, well, but maybe I can convince them. Like, no. If somebody comes up to your hamburger stand and says, can I have a hamburger? And you say, yeah, sure. Well, here's a hamburger. And they're like, no, I don't want a hamburger now. Should you run from that person? Something's wrong with that guy, right? If they ask you for a hamburger, you offer them a hamburger, and then they tell you no, something's wrong with them, right? So with that being said, this is a great way to fish out who you want to do business with and who you don't want to do business with. If somebody acts weird in this interaction, run from them. They're not your people. Fine, right? A normal person's going to say, how's the market? You're going to say, hey, I got an update that tells you what's going on. They're going to say, cool, I'd love to see that. I just asked you for it. You offered to hand it to me. I'm going to take it, right? Those people are good people to add to your sphere of influence. Anybody that doesn't go down that path and cooperate, just let them go, right? Keep it short and simple. And then after the fact, say, by the way, pay attention when you see that thing, because we are at a 2.1 month supply of homes right now in Detroit market. You might have noticed it went up from 1.7 month supply of homes. And by the way, that's normal this time of year. Supply always goes up in the wintertime in Michigan because nobody wants to sell their house when it's 20 degrees below zero. So that's normal. And they go, oh, that's good info. Thanks. Shut up. Walk away, right? Now we can add value to them. I've got their info. If I do this on a consistent basis, on a weekly basis, think about it like this. If I just do this 5 times a week in my normal course of living my life, that's 20 people per month, 240 people I can add to my sphere of influence just with this one simple interaction. Now you might say, well, Russ, that's great. I've got a bunch of people in my sphere of influence. So here's the thing. If you're starting to do a real estate market update on a monthly basis and you start sending to everybody in your sphere of influence, now you're starting to build credibility, okay? In the real estate business, we have 2 types of credibility. We have personal credibility, right? Which is they know us, like us, trust us. They know that Russ dude. Russ guy builds bass guitars. He forges knives. He reads a bunch of books. It's a weird dude, but that's my guy, okay? It's his birthday today. Happy birthday. That's my guy, right? The problem is we don't have the professional credibility with most of the people in our business. Have you guys ever heard the story? Is like, you see it posted on Facebook. You're like, I can't believe this. My sister-in-law listed their house with another real estate agent. That bitch. Or some version of that, right? Sorry, full contact, full throttle here, guys. Okay? Like, you guys are in sales. If you can't handle a little bit of that, get out of sales, okay? You can meet all kinds of people, and I'm 2 of them. Professional, you see that interaction happen or some variation of that interaction happen, guys. And I say some of this stuff a little extreme because I want it to stick, okay? But that interaction happens, and the reason that interaction happens is I love you, I trust you as my friend and my family, but I don't trust you as my real estate person yet. It's like, I got a lot to lose here, right? So we have to build both professional credibility and personal credibility to be able to do business with them. So if you have high level of professional and personal credibility, people are going to want to do business with you. So here's the fun part. If you're saying, Russ, why aren't more people doing business with me in real estate? I said, okay, well, do people like you? If the answer is no, then you probably should get out of sales, right? If the answer is yes, people like me, but they're not using me for real estate, then you have to build professional credibility. How do you build professional credibility? You don't build it by posting you doing everything real estate. Look at me, I'm a realtor. Because that just alienates people, right? They don't like, have you ever seen your dentist? He gets on Facebook with a selfie and he's got his video going. He's like, you guys check this out, man. I'm drilling the heck out of this guy's tooth. Come see me. I'm Russ the dentist, right? That would actually be funny if he did that. I'd probably go to a guy that did that because it'd be entertaining, right? But we don't see a lot of other professionals doing the same thing we see real estate agents do. And a lot of it is look at me. And instead of saying, look at me, I want you to start thinking, here's something for you. Instead of thinking, how do I get something from people? How do I give something to people? And if people consistently want to know what's going on in the market, particularly in a shifting market, this is your number one, absolute most powerful tool you could possibly have. Being the person telling them what's going on in the market when a market's changing. This is like them watching real estate news. I want to know what's going on in real estate. I'm going to turn on real estate news. Who's that? Sean, birthday boy Sean, doing real estate market update. I'll watch that because that's my guy. That's the guy I'm trusting as my pro to give me the info. And after doing that for 2 and 3 and 7 and 12 and 14 and 24 months, you start to become their expert. And what happens is everybody knows 5, 6, 7 real estate agents. How many real estate agents do you know, easy for me to say, are doing a real estate market update on a monthly basis? Almost none, guys. The market is screaming, please help me with this info. And we don't do a good job of delivering this. So if you want one thing that makes you stand out, one thing that you should be seen, as Glenn Sanford, CEO of EXP said, get out and be seen. This is the number one way to get out and be seen. Number one, because people want to know. And number two, because it helps you build professional credibility. Okay. If you have high levels of professional credibility and personal credibility, because it's not just Russ the Realtor, it's Russ the Realtor. And by the way, I also have a cool life that I live. I want you to see parts of that too. I'd like you to see my dogs because that makes me human. Okay. It's Russ the Realtor doing other stuff. If I start positioning my life like that, Russ the Realtor doing other stuff, then it's not just Russ the Realtor, it's Russ the Realtor and he also does other stuff. And that becomes more interesting and people want to see it. Okay. I could do Russ the Realtor doing all kinds of things. I could do Russ the Realtor rock climbing. Right. But it's not, let me sell you this rock. I'm not always trying to sell them the rock and sell them a harness and sell them a rope and sell them a pair of shoes and sell them gloves and show them. Stop trying to sell people crap. Okay. Live a cool life. Tell that story. I'm Russ the Realtor going rock climbing. If you got kids, you got to check this place out. That's the fun stuff. That's going to be recipe 3. I'm going to go into detail on that. Okay. So recipe 1, market update. Okay. Here's information I want you guys to know. As a coach, teacher, trainer, taught a bunch of people how to do real estate, taught a bunch of people how to get over 100 sales a year. My best year selling was 143 closings. That was 2014, by the way. So it wasn't like a million years ago. And I did that with 1 full-time person, 1 part-time person at that time. Okay. So it wasn't like we had a team of 80 people. We did 28 million sales that year, 143 closings. The crappy part is average sales price was way down in that point of the world. So it's like a 190 average sales price. It's $28 million in sales, right? And it all started with that. Because somebody's like, hey, market shift, market's changing. I got some people that want to start buying. You're the one talking about this. Can we connect on this? And I was like, yes, Jordan, we can connect on this. And then Jordan connected me with. Next thing you know, I'm helping people buy houses for hedge funds. All started with being able to do a real estate market update, telling them, if you're thinking about buying a house, the market's starting to shift. And they go, done, time to buy. Let's go. They bought a shit ton of houses. Okay. So with that being said, I had the credibility there. So in teaching this process and teaching this market update process, if you do a good market update process, recipe 1, you do a good contractor list, recipe 2, and you do a good social media promo stuff on a consistent basis, recipe number 3, you should be able to get your sphere of influence to convert at about 10%. Okay. 10% plus or minus. Okay. You're doing the things, adding value consistently to your sphere of influence, adding the value, talking about the things that they want to see and being seen by them. You are what they would call in the flow. If you guys ever read the book Ninja Selling, I read that book. I'm like, these guys stole my stuff. But in there, the author talks about this concept of being in the flow. So you might know 10 real estate agents, but which one is there when they're ready to sell? Which one's the one that's in a position when it's ready to sell? Because they could use any number of them. So you have to be in the flow consistently. So doing a market update is going to help you stay in the flow, stays in front of them, right? Having the contractor list, we'll talk about that in a second. Then the third thing is a social media process that actually puts you and keeps you in the flow, not just look at me, I'm a realtor. Now you're building value and credibility. If you get your sphere of influence to convert at around 10%, let's do the math. If I just have this interaction 1 time a day, 5 days a week, not even 7, that's 20 people in a month. That's 240 people in a year. 240 people in 1 year times 10% is 24 sales. How many of you would like to do 24 sales a year from now? Yeah, right. How many of you would like to add 10 or 20 sales over the next year? Okay. Cool part, guys, is I'm not asking you to do crazy stuff. I'm not asking you to do silly stuff. I'm not asking you to do things that are uncomfortable and weird. I'm asking you just be good at answering the stuff that's already hitting you in the face. This is the shift, right? Because a lot of people are like, but Russ, you got to get good with your scripts. You got to dial for dollars. You got to make that 50 phone calls a day. And I'm going, yeah, no, like 95% of agents just aren't going to do that. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm not saying don't do those other things. I'm just simply saying if you're not doing those other things and you're pretending to do those other things, or you're trying to avoid to do those other things, here's a really simple solution for you that's just going to fit into your lifestyle. Now, ladies with families and little kids running around, you're like, how do I build my real estate business? I've got 3 kids, Russ. Let me introduce you to Rose Cicero. She had 4 kids under the age of 11. Started her doing this stuff. Her and her husband did $80 million in sales last year before last, right? So guys, like you can do this and live this and merge this into your life. Ladies, husbands, family people. If you've got kids, I call that an unfair advantage. Here's why. You got to go to birthday parties. Ooh. Now think about it. Birthday party. I got an opportunity. Somebody's gonna say, hey, what do you do? I'm a real estate agent. How's the market? Go. Glad you asked. Bam. Now a birthday party is a networking opportunity for me. If you are engaging and being consistent with certain people, you're going to find that that credibility goes up and then that conversion percentage goes up. So if you do nothing else, if you're already doing well, add this stuff into your business. It'll make you do better, right? If you're not doing well, start doing this stuff and it'll get you on the path to being able to move in the right direction. This doesn't happen overnight, but I guarantee you, if you do these 3 things consistently for the next 12 months, you're going to have people calling you and going, hey, Sean, hey, I was thinking about something and you came up and real estate. You're the real estate guy. Okay. So that's part of it. So 10%. So here's the thing, guys. Let me add a little bit of social credibility to this also, because a lot of people go, Russ, that seems like a really high number. Okay, so let's be clear what's going on in your sphere of influence right now, because I want you to understand what's going on in your sphere. How often does the average American move?
Every 7 years.
About every 7 years, right? So if I take 100 people, right? 100 people divided by 7 is 14.2. Okay. That's 14.2 people out of 100 every year are moving. So what percentage of, well, let's go through this first. How many of those people already own a house? A huge percentage, right? Because only 30 or 25 or 30% of any market at any given time is first-time home buyers, which means most of these people are going to have something to sell. So let's say it's only 50% of them. If it's only 50% of them, that would be 7 of them have something to sell. Because guys, keep in mind, we got somebody buys and sells. We're transaction people, right? We can get paid on the buy side and the sell side, or the sell side and the buy side. So with that being said, if that's the case, you've got 21 conservatively transaction sides going on in your sphere of influence out of every 100. I'm not asking you to get all 21%. I'm just simply saying get 10. Does that sound reasonable? Okay, Derek, question.
You have a question, Derek? You want to unmute yourself?
Hand up.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead and go on, Russ. We'll come back to it.
No worries. We'll keep on moving. If it comes back up, good. Okay. So guys, when I say get 10% of your sphere of influence, I'm not asking you to do something that's amazing and unbelievable, and you got to be the Babe Ruth of real estate here. You don't have to be a rock star to get that. That's just working averages. Let's say you do a horrible job and you only get 5%. 5% of 240 people you can add in the next year is 12 sales in the next year. 12. That's the half-ass version, guys. 12. Okay, so now you're starting to see a path where you could potentially be more successful than you ever imagined just by doing something like this simple. Okay, so we're going to get to 10%. So start doing a real estate market update. I'm going to send you the video on how to do one. I'm going to send you a sample on how to do that. Okay, good. So recipe number 2. Here's a fun one, guys. You ready for this? Here's an eye-opener. You guys work with houses? Yeah?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So you work with houses. Do all the houses we work with, they're all perfect?
No.
Nope. Right? We do a home inspection on a brand new house, and there's 40 things on the list, right? Brand new house, just finished. We still come up with a list of 40 things, right? So no houses are perfect. So in the process of having houses that are not perfect, recipe number 2, should you have a contractor list? Hey,
Yeah.
think about it like this. Do I need to build my sphere of influence? Yes. You guys want to add some people to your sphere of influence? Sure. How about if we start adding contractors? So I can go on Facebook. Here's a good social media use for Facebook. I can go on Facebook and I can say, hey guys, I'm looking for a good plumber. If you know somebody that's honest, responsible, shows up on time and is a fair price and communicates well, I'd like to know who that is. Somebody in your sphere of influence knows a good plumber that fits that criteria, right? You're like, well, we got Bill. He kind of sucks, but he's a good price. Okay, well, maybe I'll take Bill because we'll just keep him as a bargain basement guy, right? So, but I'm going to have a reach out to people saying, hey, I'm building a contractor list. And by the way, if you ever need a contractor, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm Russ the Realtor. We deal with houses. Houses break. I've got a solution for you. Do you think that would be a great story to be telling all the time? Now, on a weekly basis, guys, you could actually do just one trade per week, finding 2 or 3 plumbers, finding 2 or 3 electricians, 2 or 3 drywallers, 2 or 3 painters, 2 or 3 flooring guys, 2 or 3 ceiling guys, 2 or 3 lighting guys, a couple of gutter guys, a couple of roofing people. Do you need a window guy? Yes. Do you need a kitchen guy? Yes. Bathroom guy. Is a tile guy different than a wood floor guy? You darn right. Is a wood floor guy different than a wood refinishing floor guy? Darn right. So do you need all of those? So guys, I put together a list personally of 60 different trades that you can touch, that touch a house. Just off the top of my head. Would you like me to send you that list?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay, fine. Twist my okay. I've got a list of contractors, and then at the bottom of it, I've got the little recipe on how you do this. You go on social media and you ask for a specific plumber in a specific area. Okay. So you don't go, hey, I'm looking for a plumber, Facebook. And you're like, what state are you in? I don't even know. I've got 3,200 Facebook friends. They're all over the country, right? I have no idea where anybody is. So I'm looking for a plumber that works Southeast or West Detroit. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. It's got to be responsible, got to be reliable, got to communicate well, and got to be a fair price. Okay, who do you got? And what'll happen is you'll get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people will give you the plumber that they've used recently that they've done a good job with. So here's the fun part, guys. I've got 60 people on my contractor list, and if you just got one of each, you'd have 60 people on that contractor list. So here's the fun part, guys, because I don't think like normal humans. Left-handed, born on January 10th, what could go wrong, right? My brain doesn't think like normal people's brains, right? So I think 60 people, well, that's great. But you know what? There are high-end houses and there are low-end houses. Do I want to send my fix and flipper guy to $1 million house? Nope. Do I want to send my $1 million house guy to a fix and flipper? Nope. So I need 2 of each of these. Right now, here's the jacked up part. You guys might be like, wow, that was a good little multiplier, Russ. So now your list of 60 becomes a list of 120 contractors on your list. Okay. Well, here's the rub. My high-end guy that does $1 million houses, he's pretty good, right? Yeah, because that's the criteria. He's got to be good. So is he going to be busy? Yeah. So should I have a backup guy for my top guy? Yeah. So I need a high-end guy and I need a backup because my guys are good. They're busy. They're not always available. So now I need 2 high-end. And by the way, my fix and flipper guys, I need 2 low-end guys too, because my low-end guy, he's good. So he's busy. He's good and cheap and he's busy. So I need a backup there. So now instead of having a list of 120 contractors, I can build out a list of 240 contractors. Huh. Now, for those of you that are with EXP, we have an unfair advantage. And the unfair advantage, I'm going to just mention this quickly. It's not a sales pitch, but for those of you that are with EXP, I want to make sure you understand the gravity and the power of this. When you go out into the market and say, hey, I'm looking for a good plumber, boom, 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 people, there's a bunch of people that are going to respond to that to you are going to be real estate agents. Yeah, right. They're like, how do I get real estate agents to call me when I'm a real estate agent, Russ? I don't know. Ask them if they got a good plumber. And if they say they got a good plumber, and then my response back to them will be not just take from them, add value to them. So I'm going to say, by the way, thank you for that. I've got a list of contractors I'm building. If you should need anybody at any point, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Now I've got my people in my sphere of influence, humans that are not realtors, out there sending me people and giving me recommendations, but I've also got realtors that are giving me recommendations. I can add value to my people and I can add value to the realtors. So guys, anybody with EXP, what we are known for in the market is out there chasing real estate agents and driving them bat's not crazy, right? So instead of chasing people around and driving them bat's not crazy, please, for the love of God, start adding value to every single real estate agent in your market. Whether you're with EXP or not, start adding value to every single real estate agent in your market. Because I will tell you one thing I know for a fact. The better any of us do, the better all of us do. I don't care if you're with me, on my team, not on my team. I want you to freaking win. And I want you to win every single year. I don't want anybody to be in the real estate business and have an experience where this business sucks. And unfortunately, a lot of them do. We are all in this together, all fighting the same fight. There's plenty for everybody. You getting a deal or somebody getting a deal that you should have got is not stealing from you. There's plenty for everybody. You start doing this stuff, and guys, you're going to start seeing there's plenty for you. And give back to the other realtors in your business. You do a deal with a real estate agent, trade contractor lists with them. If you got good contractors out there, I want those good contractors to get more business, because you know what happens when the contractors get more good business? The contractors go out and buy a what? House. Right? So I want my contractors to do good because they're going to upgrade their house. And who are they going to call? The guy that's been sending them business, right? So this contractor list helps you connect to everybody around you, helps you leverage your business and grow your business. Now, in the process of doing this conversation, hey, Russ, how do you do? What do you do? I'm a real estate agent. How's the market? Great. I got a market update. By the way, also, I have a preferred contractor list. If you ever need a contractor, it's always changing. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. Now, when something breaks on their house in the next year, and something will, if you are in the flow with them, you are staying communicated with them, and they're seeing you post on Facebook, building your contractor list consistently and adding to it consistently. When they need a plumber, they're calling you. Hey, Russ, I know you know everybody. Who's your best plumber? Okay, which house? Are you doing a flipper? Or are you doing a nice house? Nice house. Cool. Here's my nice house plumber guy. By the way, if he does a good job, let me know he does a good job. Now I've got people reaching out to me and communicating with me, reaching out to me instead of me chasing them around all the time. Okay. So with that being said, somebody said, do you use HomeKeep app? I do this manual old school. And the reason I do it manual old school is anybody can jump on any one of these apps. You can jump on Angie's List and find stuff like that. I want people to send people to me because I want to make a connection. And then I send stuff back to them. Right. So can I shortcut this? Yes. Do I want to shortcut this? Hell no. Because guys, this is a relationship business. This is how you build relationships and add value. If I just can randomly scroll through and pull up a random name, I want to say, hey, these are all people that people recommended, use them and said they fit this criteria. If you see something different, let me know. Because there are times when I kick contractors off the list because they don't return phone calls or whatever. Okay. This list is constantly in motion. The fun part is this list is constantly in motion. Guys, it gives you something to do that's productive. It gives you something to do that has something to offer back to the market. And by the way, if I hit 240 contractors on my list, contractors don't close at 10%. They are now in my sphere of influence, though. They don't close at 10%, guys. They're going to be in the 3 to 5% range. Because guys, look, every single one of these guys lives in a house. And by the way, my contractor, hey, Mr. Contractor guy, you're working with people that are working on their houses. When you bump into somebody that's working on their house to get it cleaned up to sell, see where this is going? The contractor's in there fixing the plumbing thing because they're thinking about selling their house. If you bump into somebody on a real estate side and they need a good realtor, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'll take good care of them just like I take care of you, referring you business. Now, I've given to this guy, I've added value. Am I always going to be his guy? No, because he knows 10 other realtors. However, all of those 10 other realtors, none of them are sending him a market update. So every one of my contractors is in my sphere. They get my market update, so they know what's going on in the market. And by the way, Mr. Plumber, I do a real estate market update every month. I'm going to stick you on that list so you get that too. So when somebody says to you, hey, I'm thinking about selling my house, and you're like, hey, yeah, I've been watching this thing from this guy named Russ, bald-headed, good-looking dude, born on January 10th, and he's got his contractor list and he's got a market update, tells him what's going on in the market. You should call him. Can I get some referrals from my contractors? Yeah. So between the referrals from my contractors and the contractors actually thinking about selling their houses, I can get 3 to 5% conversion rate on that. Now, keep in mind, that's what, 8 to 12 closings. Okay. So I've got 24 over here from building my sphere. I've got another 8 to 12 closings coming out over here just from running my contractor list. Guys, is any of this not something you're doing on a day-to-day basis and seeing and running into accidentally just because of breathing? This is a plan to say, like, I'm just functioning as a human. I'm not even doing a great job of it. I'm just functioning as a human, getting through life. This stuff is going to be falling in your lap. This is your opportunity to capitalize on that. If you get intentional with it, it becomes much higher percentage and much higher close rate. Got to be intentional with it. You got to strategically build it every single week. You got to block out some time, do my market update info, follow up, and do my contractor list, build my contractor list. So can you see on a weekly basis, this would be a really great idea to build this? Okay. Recipe number 3. How many of you guys love calling expireds? How many of you guys love calling withdrawals? How many of you love door knocking? How many of you love sitting in an open house waiting for people to show up? Hopefully they show up. And in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years, open houses are amazing. I set up an open house and 150 people come through. Guys, in a normal market, you set up an open house and you sit there by yourself and eat all the cookies. And that's how a normal open house goes. Like, I did all the marketing, I knocked on all the neighbor doors, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to do passive stuff. I want to do stuff that fits into my lifestyle. So I want to go do stuff that I enjoy and build my business doing that. So I had this guy named Ian, and he's in Tampa. You can Google him. Call him and be like, is Russ telling the truth? He's like, Russ, I just want to golf. I'm like, yeah, but you got to pay your bills. He's like, I know, but how do I build my business? Golf. So build your business doing stuff you love, right? I said, so here's what you do strategically. 2 times a week, you're going to go to the golf. You can go to random golf places. You're going to find the next threesome that's playing, and you're going to jump in with that threesome. So 2 times a week, you're going to meet 3 people you don't know. Go play golf with them. Ian's a pretty good golfer, by the way. So people are like, dang, this guy's a pretty good golfer. So he's going to actually make an impression on them. It's good. And in the process of having this conversation, going along, doing this golf, I'm like, man, you hit the ball a mile. Yeah, great. Hey, well, what do you do for a living that lets you go golfing in the middle of the week? I'm a real estate agent. How's the market? Boom. You guys see where this is going? So he goes, my wife would kill me. All right, great. So let's do the math. How many sales did you do last year? 14. Great. How many of those 14 sales were from people you golfed with? I don't know. We'll go find out. He goes back into his system. 6 of his sales in the last year came from people he golfed with. What's your average sales price? $250,000, $7,500 commission, $6,000 average for him to company dollar to his family. That's 6 times 6. That's $36,000. So what you do is sit down with your wife and you have a business conversation. Say, honey, this is a business meeting. I want to explain to you what I'm going to do this year for building my business. Did you know in the last year I did 14 sales and 6 of them came from golfing? That's $36,000. So what I'm proposing is I want to do more sales in the next year. And what do you think I should do? And she goes, you did how many? We made how much money from the people you golf with? 36,000. You should golf more. Her words. He's like, I didn't even say. She said to me, you should golf more. Like, yes. He's like, thank you. You saved my marriage. Right. So here, Ian builds his business golfing. Right. So I got a note sitting over here, handwritten note from him last year. I saved it sitting on my desk over here. And it says, hey, Russ, I just want to let you know I'm doing the recipes you taught me. And my sphere is converting at exactly 10%, just like you said it would. And I was like, yes, like this is a win. Right. For a coach, teacher, trainer, this is a win. Right. And then at the very bottom, my favorite part, P.S. I wish I'd listened to you 8 years ago. 8 years, this information unimplemented, and now he's finally making it work. Okay. So with that said, number 3 is going to be social, right? We're going to be doing social. Is social media important, guys?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So it's important if it works. If it's not working, it's a waste of your time, right? So we need to capitalize this and start doing things in social that actually make sense and help people connect. So what I want you to start doing is I want you to start doing 2 things. Number 1, I want you to go out and live a life and do cool stuff. If you need to exercise more, join an exercising group, join a walking group, join a running club, join a biking club, join a horsebacking consortium. Those fancy people, right? They'll hold their pinkies out. Find something that you like to do with other people that you like to do and get involved and get engaged, right? People are like, well, Ross, there's 20 real estate agents in my church. Like, yes, but if you show up consistently and you're sending everybody you connect with the market update and the realtors in your church that you're communicating with, you send them your market update, not only are you going to become the one that everybody goes to, but you're also going to be the one that all those other realtors go to, because you're adding value to them on a monthly basis. And you've got the contractor list. Hey, by the way, if you have a house, anything breaks, reach out to me. If they'll call you for a plumber, they'll call you when it's time to sell their house. Chances are they're going to need a plumber before they need to sell their house. So now I've got 6, 7 things happen during the year. They're calling me for that stuff. When it's time to sell their house, they're going to call me for that. That's how we get in the flow. Now I'm going to show up and I'm going to be present, right? I built my real estate business in 2005, 6, 7, 8, riding a mountain bike. I was out riding a mountain bike. Next thing you know, I'm with the Swamp Mountain Biking Group. So funny enough, there are no mountains in Florida. However, they dig giant holes and they put alligators in the bottom of them, which makes it exciting. So all you mountain biking, riding mountain people, you got nothing. You don't have gators at the bottom of the hill. Bunch of wimps, right? In Florida, they put gators at the bottom of the hill. True story, actually. So with that being said, I joined the Swamp Mountain Bike Group and I started riding regular basis because I need to stay in shape. I was in my 30s at that point. And what happens is I find out there's 730 or 740 people in the Swamp Mountain Biking Group. You guys got to be kidding. So they do a Tuesday ride, they do a Saturday ride, they do a Sunday ride, and then 2 or 3 times a year, they do a big mountain biking, brouhaha, whatever, camping trip type of thing. So I started showing up to that. What I started finding out is that most of my real estate sales were coming from people that I was mountain biking with, or people that knew people that I was mountain biking with. Guys, that was my sphere, because when I was riding my bike, Gary Yule's riding behind me. He's like, hey, Russ, how's the market? Market was getting destroyed. So every week I had carnage I could tell them, and they loved it. So I'd be telling them carnage stories of what's going on in the real estate market update. I collected their info. Next thing you know, I got 543 people on my list getting a market update every single month. Guess what, guys? It starts to convert. Boom, 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 boom. So if you're saying, Russ, I need to build my business, I need to add people to my sphere. Number one, add people to your sphere, just doing your normal interactions. Write down a list of everybody you already know. Start making sure they get a market update. Hey, by the way, people always ask me, how's the market? So I'm doing a real estate market update on a monthly basis, tells you what's going on. Cool. And I'm going to add people that I don't already have in my list on a monthly basis, on a daily basis. And then in addition, I'm going to add another 240 people in my contractor list, which you'll get the how-to manual on that. Super simple. And third thing is social. So now I want you to start going out and doing stuff socially and say, hey, I'm Russ the real estate agent. And by the way, I'm checking out this cool little restaurant called Yellow Dog. If you guys haven't been here yet, looks like the termites have ate this building. It looks like it's going to fall down, but the food is phenomenal. The menu is actually funny. Make sure you read it. And if you get here early enough, you could sit out back in a Volkswagen Bug with 6 of your favorite friends, have a beer, have a good time, and enjoy the ambiance. If you haven't checked out Yellow Dog, check it out. I sent a picture of me and Yellow Dog, the restaurant, right? Now I could be Russ the Realtor doing a restaurant tour. I could be Russ the Realtor checking out every dog park in town. I could be Russ the Realtor checking out every hiking trail. I could be Russ the Realtor checking out every quilting shop. I could be Russ the Realtor checking out every hobby shop, every train shop. I could be Russ the Realtor checking out historical sites, whatever, right? People don't go on Google and say, I'm looking for a realtor. They're looking for a cool place to live. And if you are the resource for a cool place to live, then you start to become the person at the top of their list. By the way, guys, every single week I do something interesting. And you're like, well, Russ, I've got kids. You don't understand. Well, really? Well, why don't you take your kids out and do some cool stuff and use them? Like, here's me and my kids. We're at 16 places you can take your kids that are fun. Right? I'm Russ the Realtor showing my kids all the cool places in town to hang out as a kid, right? Here's the bounce house. Here's the trampoline place. Here's the paintball place. Here's the whatever, right? Put them on the merry-go-round, spin them around until they puke. Guys, that'll get way more hits than anything else you do as a real estate agent, okay? So start doing social stuff. So I've got kind of a white paper on different things you can do social. And by the way, when I'm at Yellow Dog, I meet the manager and I go, hey, manager, I'm Russ the Realtor and I'm doing a quick review on your thing out front. Do you want to say hi? I'm like, hi, I'm Russ the Realtor and I've got Joe, the guy that runs Yellow Dog. Joe, say hi. Joe's like, hi. Look, if you guys haven't eaten here, Joe runs a great place. It's a great place, Joe. I love eating here. This is a great place to be. So thank you for being here. Joe's like, you're welcome. Click, boom. Now I'm Russ the Realtor, did that. Now I've got that guy. I just added him to my sphere of influence. And guess what he gets? Hey, by the way, Joe, do you want a market update? Everybody always asks me how the market, would you like me to send it to you? Yeah, sure. Joe, the owner, gives me his info. Guess what? Joe, the owner, lives in a house. Right? All of these business owners and business people that you're connecting with, you promote their business. Hey, I'm Russ the Realtor, and do a quick promo on your business. Would you like me to link it to you so you can see it? Yes. Cool. I'll join you on social. So if they pop on social, now they become my friends. Now I've got a huge sphere of friends of people that are business owners because I want to make sure they know I'm promoting their business. If you ever need anything from me, don't hesitate to let me know. By the way, I have a contractor list. If you ever need a contractor for your house, don't hesitate to give me a call. Do you see how all three of these recipes intertwine with just the way you live your life? This is optimizing and leveraging just the way you live your life. So I've got a white paper on how to do the social. It's got a list of different things you can promote, different things you can do. Pick 1 or 2 per week, depends on how fast you want to grow your business. Start doing those promos on a weekly basis. And then the follow-up is in there. Make sure you're getting a market update. Make sure you're getting the contractor list. Guys, block out time for it. Make it happen. 3 recipes you can do. Good?
Yes, so good, Russ. We've got about 3 minutes left, so I'd love to open it up for questions. Anybody have questions on here? And just one thing, a couple of things that as you were talking that I was thinking, if you just make it part of your business to talk to 2 people a day, getting conversations with people, and you do that 50 weeks out of the year, that's 500 people that you've gotten close to adding to your database of people, right? So then you take his percentage of 10% of people. I mean, right there, that's 50 deals. If you will just make it a habit of talking to 2 people a day. And, one of the things that I've noticed in realtors, and I'm guilty of this myself, we don't wear name tags like we used to wear name tags. Wear your name tag. Because when you're in that grocery store line, or you're in the Starbucks line, you've got your name tag. That alone, even if you don't open your mouth, is going to generate a lot of people asking the question, oh, you're a realtor, how's the market? And then, one last thing, and then I want to open it for questions. I have on my laptop, if I'm sitting in, wear gear with your name, all that, anything that's going to draw attention, people to ask questions. And then on my laptop, when I'm sitting in a coffee shop, when my laptop is open, this is what's on the back of my laptop.
Yes. And people go, hey, are you a realtor?
Yeah. Right.
Nope, I just stole a realtor's computer.
Yeah. And so you can have, if you just are branding yourself out there with these simple things, people are just going to ask you. But we're in a relationship business, so we got to open our mouth and just create conversations as well. So I just wanted to throw those couple of things in. So who's got a question or feedback? Ideally questions. I'd love to make sure we kind of cover anybody's questions before we finish up, if anyone has any question.
Anybody, guys? This was awesome today.
Yeah.
One quick comment that I'll make, Russ. I remember doing this early on 20 years ago when I first got in the business, again, brand new, trying to figure all this out. And I remember building, not a contract list like this. I mean, I'm excited actually to do this right here, what you just did. 60 people. I never even thought about 60, but I'm looking forward to that list. But one of the things that I used to do is I would go meet with, you can't do it with all of them, but I would set up a coffee for 30 minutes. Let me go, hey, here's Joe, the house painter. Let me come meet with Joe. I'm building my list. Let's, just to get to know you. Whatever. Hey, Joe, let me get some of your cards. I'm out there with people all the time. Here, let me give you some of my cards. The next thing you know, you do that with 10 contractors, plumbers, electricians. Everybody's got your card. There's another way just to, all of a sudden they start thinking about you. But I love that market update. Add them into that. Now they're getting something every month. Keep you in front of their mind. There's a lot of good stuff there. Yeah, Sarah, you got your hand raised. You're unmuted. You got a question, Sarah?
Yes, please. Let me turn my camera on so you guys can see me. I look like a mess. Sorry, it's raining.
You're good. You're good. Be safe. You're driving.
Thank you. But I did put a question in the comments. California, California, people can be a little apprehensive and standoffish. So how do you handle the objection? I shouldn't say objection, but what if somebody says, you're on the golf course with them or wherever you are, and they say, no, I don't want you to send me a market update, or maybe, no, I don't want to give you my information. How do you overcome that? Why can't we just talk about it right now? We're face to face.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't, right? So here's the thing. Number one, we're setting ourselves up for people to ask us, right? I'm not going and chasing people. You keep in mind, real estate agents, you go chase people down, and when you get them, you ask them, hey, do you want my market update? That would be the way we would normally be taught how to do sales in the real estate business. Like, no, you're just out and about doing your thing. They say, what do you do for a living? I'm a real estate agent. When that comes up, here's how you slam the door closed on it, lock it in, right? If they don't ask you, what do you do for a living? You don't go up to them and be like, hey, by the way, I just want to make sure you know I'm a real estate agent. Check out my real estate agent shirt and my real estate agent hat, right? Guys, you reach out. When people reach their hand out, you grab them and give them a pull, right? We want to save the one swimming towards the boat. A lot of our business, we're teaching to cross the line and violate people. And a lot of real estate agents violate people, and they're going after something, trying to get a sale, trying to get a contact, trying to get a connection. What I'm saying is you be you, live an amazing life, do cool stuff, and you will attract people to you. So you got to take the chase mindset out. When people are like, Russ, how do you handle the objections? Let's see, you just asked me, how's the market? I just offered you a market upstate. You told me you don't want it. Bye-bye. Right? You come up to my hamburger stand, ask for a hamburger, and then tell me you don't want a hamburger when I try to hand one to you. Now, if I didn't lick that hamburger, they should probably take it, right? It's the guy in the vanilla ice cream line that goes, do you have chocolate ice cream? It says vanilla ice cream line, you're in the wrong line, knucklehead. That's probably a sign, flag. Don't worry about objection handling. Walk away. You will love your life a lot more. Save the people swimming towards the boat. Don't drive over people with a boat and say, they look like they were swimming at the boat. No, they're trying to get out of the way. Stop running people over with your boat. Park your boat, put the flag up. People are going to say, hey, I want to get on that boat. The ones that are coming to that boat, you give them a pull them up on the boat, take them for a drive. Right?
And one thing that,
may I ask? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So I'm going to follow up with a different type of question. So I'd like to, I don't know how to cross over, and I don't know if this is an area.
we lost you.
You muted. There you go.
People on the line, and I'm trying to build a diverse database. And sometimes it's hard for cultures to cross over to engage one another. Any advice in that area?
Yeah, focus on taking care of your tribe first. Make your tribe strong. Other people want to hang out with your tribe, right? So what we're doing is there's an Indian lady that I worked with named Chandra Kosuri. I love her a ton. She used to invite me over to her house. She cooked me these little crazy spicy eggplant things, right? I was their token white guy. I was the only white guy in the building, right? And I was like, I laugh and I'm like, I'm your outreach program, aren't I? And she's like, yeah, you are, right? But it was funny because she did a ton of business with the people in the Indian community. The Indian people in the Indian community always love me for some reason. I don't know what it is, but there's something about the way we connect. We just connect, right? So I had a ton of fun in their community. But when push comes to shove, they did business with Chandra. And the reason they did business with Chandra is because they're comfortable with it. Now, I'm not saying circle your wagons, only deal with people that are your people. What I'm simply saying is you're going to put your flag up and you're going to attract your tribe, whatever that is. There are plenty of your tribe. Can your tribe be very diverse? Sure. Can your tribe be something like, okay, so if I only hang out in certain, like in Detroit, guys, I go downtown Detroit into the communities where I look very different than a lot of other people. I build electric bass guitars as a hobby, and I hang out in places and clubs that typically you wouldn't see somebody that looks like me, okay? And I tell you what, I have a great time, have a wonderful love for an amazing group of diversity that I play with. And it's just part of the nature of building bass guitars, puts me in a position where I can walk into a building that most people wouldn't be able to get in. And they'll be like, it's Russ, the bass guy, right? And then the guys on stage are like, buy the bass guy a drink, right? So I have, by just the nature of what I do, get access to certain things like that. It's not forced. It's not like I'm going to infiltrate bars where I shouldn't be, watch music that I shouldn't have access to. I'm getting invited there because I become part of the community, right? So I'm going to play ball in a diverse community. I'm going to play hockey in a diverse community. I'm going to play golf wherever I play golf. Meet people out and about doing your things. Don't try to force it, right? The more natural you feel, love everybody, right? Love everybody, treat everybody from a position of love, and you'll attract the people that are attracted to that. Some people just won't. It's fine. Okay. But yeah, right. You get attracted by just being the best of you. Get out and do some cool stuff. Go out in places you're not normally hanging out. Meet people.
And my ex-husband is from Detroit, so I get it. I'm glad you were able to connect with them.
You know what I'm talking about.
We're a little bit over time, so I do want to take, if we can, Debbie's last question. But one thought too is, my thought is, as you're starting to do this, if you're going to do what he recommends and create this monthly market update for the first time, maybe go on social media and just say, hey, it's Kathy, I've been doing real estate. I'm going to be creating a monthly market update. I get asked all the time about the market. If you're in the Nashville area, wherever you're at, right? If you're in the Nashville area and you want to be added to my monthly market update list, reach out to me. Shoot me a DM. If you got my message, shoot me a text, right? So you can do that as well to even get your list going. But then just add to it every single day with the things that he's talked about. So just a thought there. Debbie, do you have a question? And we've got, if any of y'all need to leave, we're 5 minutes past time already. So we'll just wrap up with this last question.
Cool.
I do. So one of my biggest questions is I'm in Colorado and I'm trying to find the best market update. I know like our MLSs, the realtor boards, or where do I find the correct market update that's good, has the info, and share that? That's been my struggle.
Okay, so here's a couple of things, right? This is super important. You guys pay attention to when I'm saying this. Okay, I'm going to say it really, really clearly. Our industry sucks at telling what's going on in the market. It is horrible, right?
Mm-hmm.
If there's any one thing people always ask, it's how's the market? Our industry is abysmal at answering that question. Does this give you something we call blue ocean? You know what blue ocean means? Like red ocean is there's a bunch of blood in the water and all the sharks, oh, blood. And everybody goes, right? Blue ocean is like you're out in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing else out. There's no competition. Market update, there's almost no competition. I guarantee you guys, less than 10% of people on here are going to actually probably do this. And if you do, your business and your life will change over the next 12 months. I guarantee it. I've seen it happen 100 times, right? So unfortunately, you have to create this information. So with that, I will include a video that I talk about the history of the real estate market. Talks about what markets are doing, ups and downs, what's normal. By the way, it's almost always normal in most markets for inventory to go up in September and October. Everybody's like, what happened? It's September. It happens every year like this. This is normal. This is not a trend. This is just normal flow of business. You haven't seen that in the last 5, 6, 7 years. We haven't had normal. So nobody knows what normal is. It's new. Right. So I'll tell that story too. So I'll include that video with the little video pile and the white papers that talks about the history going back into 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, and what markets normally look like. And then, by the way, the video I've got is how to do a real estate market update. So how and why. Okay, so it'll tell you some basic info. There's 4 main criteria that I use that'll be in that video. Okay, it's kind of an instruction manual. And of course, guys, you know how to find me.
Yeah.
If you got more questions, don't hesitate to ask. Guys, I can come back here in like 3, 4, 5 weeks and say, how are you guys doing on this? As soon as you start doing it, you're going to have more questions. And I'll be happy to answer those too. So if you guys want to have me come back and just say, anybody that saw this, show up. He's going to answer questions. What do you get stuck on? If you get stuck on something, we'll move forward. Okay.
Yeah, we'll definitely connect with you to do that. Russ, thank you so much.
Yes,
this is great information. Like you said, if people would just take this and implement it, their business and their life will change. So you got some great tips here. And Jeff, what did you want to say there?
Just real quick, I want to just make mention tomorrow, the interview with Stephanie, same time, 11 a.m. Eastern. Okay, I got that confirmed when we got on here. I should have known that when I got on here, but I didn't. 11 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. Pacific. We'll have an interview with our new Freedom Team leader, Stephanie Gillazon. You don't want to miss it. A lot of big things we're working on. That's coming up tomorrow. Great stuff today. Russ, thanks for sending us the stuff that you're going to send. We'll get that out to everybody as well. If you're not with EXP, reach out to whoever invited you on here, and we'll make sure you get the info that Russ has to send to us as well. Okay. Absolutely. So anything else, Kathy, on your end?
Nope, that's it. Thank you
Russ,
so much.
Thank you so much. I know you're a busy guy. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay?
The one swimming
Appreciate
towards
you.
the boat.
There we go.
Have a great week, guys.
Everybody have a good week.
We'll see you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.